Hi, I'm Paul Salmon. I'm a spiritualist medium. My guest today is psychic medium Amanda Barrymore. Hi Amanda.
Hello Paul, nice to meet you.
And you. What's the difference? I mean, I know, but to the viewers, I call myself spiritualist medium. Why is it you call yourself a psychic medium?
Because it encompasses the two things that I do. I do psychic work and I do mediumship. Spiritualist mediums tend to call themselves that because they're affiliated to the Spiritualist Church.
Right.
Okay, I'm not really. I don't sort of get involved on that side. So the psychic stuff is, if I was to do you a reading, I would talk about your everyday life. You might say to me, Amanda, can you help me with my relationship, or can you help me with my work? Can you tell me if I'm going to get promotion? That's the psychic side. The actual mediumship side is when I have connection with spirit. Okay, and it's basically a case of bringing your loved ones through. So if I said, oh, your father's here, I would try to go on to describe him. That's my job, is to prove that life goes on. I know the media says that it's very hard to prove, and sometimes we're seen as entertainment only, but having had this gift a long time, mediumship is really my forte. That seems to be the thing that I'm able to do. I used to be a medium clairvoyant, or clairvoyant medium, and then people used to say, what's the difference? So I just call myself a psychic medium because I now work professionally as a psychic, which is how I'm seen. So that's really the difference, really. Okay. Psychic and medium are two different things. One is about the earthly life, one is about the spiritual way of life.
But weren't you aware of your gift about 3 years old? Didn't you see a family member on your settee?
I did. You've done your research.
Oh yeah,
as they say on TV. You've done your research. When I was 3, which was a damn long time ago, I didn't know my granddad. He was only a little guy, and it was something like this, on a sofa. I said to my mum, I said, who's that funny little man sitting on there with a cap? This man sitting on a cap with a moustache, and she said, well, what does he look like, dear? And apparently at 3 I was quite aware, and I described my granddad, and she wasn't shocked because my mum was quite psychic herself, and he used to come regularly and sit on the sofa, and you could see him smoking. So I just used to think that everybody could see spirit, because it's like anything, isn't it? I see colours around people. Not many people can. I could look at someone and think, oh, they're a good person. Again, I naturally think everybody else can.
I'll best watch myself then, if you can tell.
Yeah, you've got lovely colours. Don't worry, Paul, you're fine. For the purposes of the camera, Paul has got lovely colours. Okay.
So growing up, this was quite natural to you then?
Growing up was a bit of a nightmare because, when you're used to people walking around the house, you think, who are all these strange people? Because back in the 50s and 60s, and I'm really that old, back in the 50s and 60s, you had uncles and aunties, and they would always be coming and going. It was Uncle Jim or Auntie Mary, and of course these people would come, then all of a sudden they disappear through the walls, or they just vaporise, and I think, where have they gone? And I used to say this to my mum, and she'd say, shh dear, don't say anything because people will think you're a little bit... I'd sit on the bus with her, and we'd be having this bus ride, and I'd say, Mum, why's that lady over there got all those dark colours around her? Why's she got all this black stuff like soot coming out of her? Shh. And sometimes I didn't even see colours around people.
But did you start doing one-to-one readings and... do you work in front of an audience?
Yeah, it's really strange because, Paul, I started off by giving messages. I would give messages. I see people standing behind people, and then I say, oh, by the way, you're changing your job. I didn't realise there were messages, of course, at the time. I thought everybody did it. And then I started doing readings. I started off doing psychometry. That's where you hold someone's watch. If I held your watch, I could pick up. Then I realised I really didn't need anything like watches and jewellery, but it was fun while I did it, and I suppose the mediumship side came naturally, so I'd call myself a bit of a natural medium because it's always been there. I've sort of given messages for a long time. They come in all different shapes and different forms.
Because some of you might recognise Amanda from Psychic TV.
Yes. For my sins, if that's the right word. I work for a channel called Psychic TV. They're based on Sky 886. I'm one of their readers. had lots of ambitions. I mean, I'm 60 now, and I really wanted to achieve everything. I had this list many years ago that I wanted to do this, and this. And one of them was TV. And for some bizarre reason, I missed out with the Colin Fry's of the world, and I know you've interviewed Colin Fry at one point, and Tony Stockwell and people like that. I wanted to do TV, and then when I had the chance to do TV, it suddenly just disappeared. And then mediums stopped doing psychic work on TV for some reason. TV shows said, no, we don't want you. So Psychic Today came up, and they said, would you like to be one of our studio psychics? And I said, yes, please. And obviously that was a step up for my career, and I was able to call myself a TV psychic, which was great fun. But it's only a title, because basically all you're doing is sitting in front of an audience, which is going out on Skype.
But do you work in front of audiences anyway, doing demonstrations?
No, in fact there's a studio very similar to this one. And
but I mean, do you do that anyway in front of audiences?
I do the public work.
Yeah, do you do?
Yeah, I call them gigs. You know, it's a bit of a folky thing, really, isn't it? I call them the gigs. I call them stand-ups because obviously with my surname, people expect me to do stand-ups. Yeah. It's great fun. Yes, I do, and I'm planning one for Felixstowe as well. Yeah, I love to be in front of a live audience, as I'm sure you do, and give out live messages, because it's the buzz.
It is.
Of being able to... I mean, people say to me, what's it like being a medium? And I say, well, do you know what? It's the worst and the best job in the world. It's the worst job because you get up... I mean, if you're a musician, for example, you think, right, what set we're going to play? Right, we're going to do this one. When you're a medium, you think, what am I going to do? And you've got nothing written down. I've got nothing written down in front of me. No tricks up my sleeve, and you have to formulate it in your head. Right, come on, Patrick, my guide, come forward and give me all the things and bring the people in and help these people. Next thing you know, 2 hours has gone, and it's been fun. It's very draining, as you know.
So much I want to ask you, but quickly, who is Patrick, or who was he?
Yeah, well, he's very much a real person, because obviously he's a spiritual guide. I discovered Patrick about 11 years ago. This lady came completely out of the blue, and she said to me, would you like to work with me? I'm a past life regressionist. And I said, well, that would be fun. And so she laid me down on a sofa, and she took me back to what I consider to be a previous life job, and that's when I met Patrick. And Patrick came and said that he was going to be my guide for my next stage of my work, and Patrick would be a great guide. He'd be very direct, very blunt, which is how I am sometimes. And I thought, I'm not sure if I want a 19th century Southern Ireland priest, which is what he was when he was here. And my connections with Patrick from a previous life that I had as Mary. She was an Irish milkmaid.
Well, let's talk about this, because that's connected with your book.
It is connected with my book.
And Amanda, you say the title to me, because I've got my glasses on. Explain it to me.
Well, my book is called, it's my autobiography. And there's 54 years of life crammed in there, because I sort of finished it in the middle of 2000 something. And I wrote part 1, which is called Sunshine and Shadow. And then I wrote part 2, which is called Living with Mary, Mike and Amanda. Sunshine and Shadow was taken from a painting, and I thought, that's very much like my life. For every bit of shadow, there's a bit of sunshine. And then Living with Mary, Mike and Amanda described previous lives, and Mary came about through Patrick. Apparently I'd been an Irish milkmaid working for the Irish church, and unfortunately Patrick had been a bit of a naughty man, and that's all I'm going to say. And he promised to come back, and in a future life he would be my, what would you call him, consul? I can't remember what they call him. My control, my guide. He doesn't control me, he stands and he helps me with my work. So I just woke up with that title in my head one day. I think I'd been a single parent too long, because I was thinking Mary Mungo Midge from the 70s, and I thought, Mary Mungo Midge, Mary Mungo Midge, Mary, Mike and Amanda, and it just came. And this voice in my head said, that'd be a great title for your next book, part 2. And I've just finished part 3, which is called Patrick, Raphael, Keegan and me, which is part 3. I'm very lucky to have lived to quite an age where I can do 3 books and I'm writing my 4th one at the moment. So yeah, that's the book in all its glory.
I was going to ask you about Raphael. That's the angel, Raphael?
Yeah, we've all got guardian angels, Paul, as you know. I'm very lucky and blessed to know who my guides have always been, because I used to have a North American Indian girl, and she was called White Arrow. So I used to refer to White Arrow as he. And one day I had this voice in me that said, I am not a he, I am a she. And don't call me Score, because Score is not a very nice name.
Oh, isn't it?
To call her. No, you have to say Indian woman. A Score is seen as a bit of a loose woman. And then suddenly she came with her dad, who was called Running Water. So that was fantastic. So that's how I got to find out about my guides.
Right. Well, because aren't you a local? Weren't you born locally in Felixstowe?
I was born in a little village called Nacton.
Nacton, just up the road?
Yeah, just up the road, about 7 miles up the road. And I spent most of my childhood here in Felixstowe, and people often take the mick out of me because I say, Felixstowe is my favourite place in the UK. And everybody says, well, you're an Essex girl, why don't you live in Felixstowe? I've never had the opportunity to live back here, but I do love Felixstowe. It's my spiritual home.
Because I'm an Essex boy.
Well, I realise that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But
does it show?
It does, in the accent. But of course I've become an Essex girl, and for 15 years I've been an Essex girl, but I'd like to be a Suffolk girl again if I had the chance.
I want to talk about your brass bands before we pack up.
Okay.
What do you play?
The Fool sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, I remember reading about John Lennon, bless him. He said, my name's John, I play the guitar, and sometimes I play the Fool. Yeah. Well, I play euphonium. I've got two mad passions apart from my kids and my grandchildren. My 2 passions are brass banding and karaoke, and brass banding is just the thing. I absolutely love it. Shall I tell you about my former religion?
Yeah,
which is mentioned in the book, by the way. Another plug. I grew up in the Salvation Army. Very strict religion, so you can imagine, can't you? Growing up in the Salvation Army, seeing a spirit, it was deemed as being. I was told I'd be damned. Yeah. So I wasn't. I'm still here. But yes, I grew up in the Salvation Army, and naturally, when you're down here, it's either an instrument or you sing. I want to do both.
I can't do either. But
can't you? I'm sure you can. It's like with Oasis and Blur and the Beatles and the Stones. I always wanted to experience everything. So I said to my dad, I would like to play. So at the age of 5, there I am with this cornet. Oh my gosh, my father used to shout at me. But then it was great because I went in the Salvation Army and I learned to play this instrument. It was good fun. And then I came out of the Salvation Army in 78. We parted company. And I thought, well, I'm never going to pick up a brass instrument again. But I did, because, there's a big wide world out there. And I joined a local brass band in Suffolk and carried on playing. And I can't believe I've been playing for 58 years.
Give your age away. Well, you're not. Well, I think you did give your age away earlier, but
58 years playing the brass instrument. I'm still no good. Well, I'm 60 if you really want to know. So there we are.
Amanda, it's been lovely speaking with you.
It's been lovely talking
to you. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
What's the future hold? Where are you off to next?
Well, can I just promote a charity?
Of course.
Do it, please. It's called the CRUK Charity, CRUK. It's Cancer Research UK. It's in Ipswich. It's on the 12th of February at 7:30. I shall be doing some private readings to raise money for cancer research, because it's basically for a children's charity, and having children myself, I really want to help as best I can. My future, I'm still driven. I really am still driven. While I've got my health and strength to get out there and do it, I'd really like to do more TV. I'd like to do more radio. Radio's a passion. I always wanted to be a radio presenter at one time. Really would love to get out there and do that again, and read for a few well-known people, which I've been able to do in the past, but I won't mention any names.
I'll tell you what, come back some other time after I've read your book.
Okay.
And I'll come take your seat on the sofa again and
that'd be
have
lovely.
another chat.
Thanks
for coming in.
For inviting me.
Hope you enjoyed Amanda's and my little chit chat here today, and
I've certainly enjoyed it.
See you next time.